Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. I'm Mayor Pro Tem Jean Lim, and I'll be chairing the meeting. Mayor Castriata is at a conference. Information on how to watch, attend, and participate, as well as agendas, minutes, and recordings can be found on Broomfield's website at www.broomfield.org/council meetings. Public comment is welcome in person or through our call service. Instructions for calling in are available on the council meetings webpage. Public comment will be limited to 90 minutes total per item. The first 1 to 15 participants in the queue have 3 minutes to speak. The next 16 to 25 participants in the queue have 2 minutes to speak. And if time remains, the next 26 plus participants in the queue have 1 minute to speak. For our hard of hearing residents present, we have wireless headsets available through our AV team in the back of council chambers. The City Council regular meeting is called to order. Councilmember McKenzie will be arriving later in the evening. There are 9 council members in attendance. A quorum of council is present. We begin this meeting by acknowledging that we gather on the ancestral and unceded lands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, Ute, and other Native peoples. Indigenous peoples have cared for this land for generations and continue to maintain deep cultural and spiritual ties to it. As the City and County of Broomfield, we recognize the responsibility to honor this legacy and the enduring presence of Native communities. May this acknowledgement inspire action that fosters greater understanding, truth, and respect for Indigenous peoples. Will everyone please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. In an effort to keep order for tonight's meeting, I ask council members to limit their comments to 5 minutes. If council members are given an opportunity to speak for a second time on an item, they should limit their comments or communication to 2 minutes. We will plan on a 10-minute break at approximately 8 p.m. We will begin with council's review and approval of this evening's agenda. Council may add or remove items from the consent agenda, or council may revise the order of business for the meeting. Does any member of the council have any comments or questions regarding this evening's agenda? Seeing none, are there any objections to this agenda being approved? Seeing none, this agenda is approved. For the first item under petitions and communications this evening, we'd like to honor some special guests with us. From Broomfield High School, please welcome their girls swim and dive team, who recently took home the first 4A state championship title in school history. Will the Broomfield High School team representatives please come to the podium and introduce yourselves?
Hello. Hi, I am Coach Emily Austin. I am the head coach of these amazing ladies.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Austin. I'm the assistant coach of these wonderful girls this season. And
I'm Myra Wary, and I was head captain this year.
I'm Ridley Hagerman, and I was one of the co-captains this year.
Hi, I'm Lola Guthrie, and I was also one of the co-captains this year.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Nora Wu. I'm a sophomore.
Hi, I'm Andrea LaGuardia, and I'm a junior.
I'm Kaylin Schwab, and I'm a junior.
I'm Peyton Erickson, and I'm a freshman.
I'm Avery Wine, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Madeline Norton. I'm a junior.
I'm Ava Younger and I'm a freshman.
My name's Carly Chandra and I'm a junior.
My name's Marbury Wary and I'm a sophomore.
Thank you very much. Would the representatives like to make any comments?
You have something you want to say besides me? I have a couple of things to say. We actually had 28 members on our team. Most of them are also involved in other sports and activities, which is why they are not in attendance. So this is a very small sampling of the amazing group that we had. We had 60 girls on the whole team this year. So to have 28 of them be a part of our state championship team was pretty amazing. Raise your hand if you won an event or more than one event at state this year. Raise it high. Carly.
There's
Okay. The last time that we won any individual events or any events on the girls' side was 2012 when our medley relay won. We had a member on that relay who is the granddaughter of Martha Durda. You guys know her. So it had been a good bit of time since we had any wins. We've never had more than one win at a state championship. So we won four events. Sorry, I had to keep it straight. Won 4 events and got second place in 3 events. To have all of that happen at the same meet kind of stands to reason that we were going to win state. So it was pretty awesome. So I'm really, really, really proud of these girls and all of the things that they've done. So yeah. You guys have anything else?
That's great.
Okay.
And then I just want to say, like, I've been on the team for 4 years, obviously, because I'm graduating this year, but me and all the girls have worked so hard to reach this goal. And me and like some of the other older kids in the group, so like seniors, have wanted this since we were like sophomores. So this is a really big deal for us.
Great. Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate you having us here.
Great. We'll now move on to public comments. We take public comments on these items. If there's anyone who'd like to be heard, please come to the podium and state your name and neighborhood for the record. For anyone using the call-in service, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak on the item. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. No proud parents that want to come and say? There we go.
My name is Mike Guthrie, and I live in the Palisade Park neighborhood. We've been residents of Broomfield for 10 years. And just, I want to say, like, apart from the girls, I think a huge recognition of Coach M, her dedication, her drive to these girls. Not only, the last 4 years, but I think the last 26 years. 28 years.
Who's counting?
And so, just her hard work, her dedication, and then, and that passing on and that legacy to all of our girls, and just obviously very proud of each and every one of them. But certainly a huge recognition to Coach M. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any comments? Other comments? Okay. Thank you.
I'm Karen Whalen, and I lived in Broomfield for 40 years. Our daughter graduated from Broomfield High School as a swimmer, and her two daughters swam at Broomfield on the state team. And she coached Broomfield for 9 years, and her best friend, Emily, took over when she stopped. So it's been quite a tribute to be able to watch this culmination of generations.
Anyone else? Hey, comments from council are next. Are there any council comments? Councilmember Hinkle.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Really, you are not gonna get away with not speaking tonight. Come on up. I know there's some seniors probably too that might be swimming in college. So if you're swimming in college, just tell me a little bit about your next adventure, and we're really proud of you.
Okay.
Getting emotional because my daughter swims with a lot of these girls. And I wish, Emmy could be here tonight. She's practicing. But she's been so proud to watch this team too. And even though they swim for legacy, there's a lot of girls who swim year round in the club era, right? And so we're just really proud of the next steps you guys are going to take. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to do next and what your favorite, maybe not favorite strokes. Sometimes your favorite aren't always your best too. But what strokes are you most powerful in?
Okay, so I'm planning to swim, or I'm committed to swim at the Naval Academy, and I leave in June. Um, and then my best races are distance free, so I actually am capped off at the 500 in high school, but I swim the mile and 1,000, and I actually just got second at the 1,000 at sectionals, which is pretty cool. So-
Yay! And really, you've swam in the ocean, correct?
Yeah.
She does a lot of open water swims, which are pretty intense. You feel like you're swimming in a washer. Awesome. Congratulations,
Thanks.
Ridley. Yeah.
Before I mention myself, we have another girl that isn't here, Ellie Folk, who's going to be swimming at the Air Force Academy. And she does like IM med, like 4 IM, so like a longer IM. And then I'm Myra, and then I'm going to swim at St. Bonaventure, which is in New York, so far away from here. But um, I used to do a lot of distance, but then I had an injury, so I had to kind of stop doing that stuff. But I started doing like sprint, but now I'm getting back into like distance. So I kind of do like a variety of things and I'm really excited.
Nice. Congratulations. Yay. And to all the parents here, we know that your skin smells like chlorine. We know that you have health problems now because of it. I'm just kidding. But you really have supported these kids and there's just times where you have been driving them to and from practice, to and from these meets, and really known the other parents and driving this team together. So kids, make sure after tonight you also thank your parents too and your coaches. Thank you, coaches, for putting in the sweat equity. We know a lot of you guys do two-a-days too. So really proud of you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. And I get to come see the assembly at the high school on April 23rd to see that celebration. So that'll be fun too. We proudly recognize and congratulate the Broomfield High School girls swim and dive team on their outstanding achievement of earning the title of state champions. This remarkable accomplishment is a testament to the athletes' dedication, discipline, and teamwork, as well as the unwavering support of their coaches, family, and school community. Their commitment to excellence in both the pool and the classroom exemplifies the very best of Broomfield, and their success brings great pride and inspiration to our entire community. Congratulations on a truly exceptional season and a well-deserved championship title. Would you please join us in front for a photo? Poke my head over every once in a while. This tight enough? I'm on my tippy toe. Okay. And we have another athletic accomplishment to celebrate. Next, under petitions and communications, we'd like to welcome back Shyla Martinez, back-to-back state champion wrestler and Boco Preps Girls Wrestler of the Year. Ms. Martinez and Coach Chement, would you please come to the podium and introduce yourselves?
Hi, y'all. I am Coach Lucy.
Hi, I'm Shayla Martinez.
And would you like to make some comments?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Coach Lucy. I'm the head girls wrestling coach at Broomfield. So for those of you that may or may not know, BVSD has one girls wrestling team for the entire school district, and it's hosted by Broomfield. So last year, Shayla was here, same spot, because last year she also won state, and she was BVSD's first ever female state champion in wrestling. So that's super awesome. So she's a junior now. So hopefully next year we'll be here again for her third. It's also very special for us to be here with the girls swim and dive team because they're winning their first, Broomfield is winning their first championship in that sport as well. So congratulations to you all. It's cool to see two women's sports programs here repping Broomfield and winning state championships. Okay. A little bit more about Shayla. So like I said, she's a junior. Wrestling is everything to her. She sleeps, eats, breathes wrestling. After this, she's going to practice. So, you know, this is a pit stop on the way there. In a couple weeks, next week, she is going to compete in the US Open. Last year she placed 6th in the US Open. So this year she has her sights set on winning it. So good luck, Shayla, next week. Yeah, and just last thing I'll say, all around, Shayla is an awesome athlete and she is such an important member of our team. She's a captain. She really leads the team and is always there to help her fellow teammates to get better, and she really strives and wants herself and her teammates to be better. I want to thank both of her parents. They're both here over there. Her dad, Sam, is my assistant coach, and this is my first year coaching. I could not have done this without his help this season, and just the way that he supports his own daughters in the mat room and mat side is amazing. And the way that he really treats everyone on the team like they're his kid is awesome. So thank you, Sam and Amanda, for everything this year. You raised a good one. 2. Okay. I'm done.
I just wanted to come up here and say how much I appreciate my family and Coach Lucy and my dad, my coach as well. This season, they pushed me to be the best version of myself. They knew what I wanted. They helped me get my state championship again. And I'm not done, and they know that. So they're just pushing me more and just being the best support system. And I also want to thank the Broomfield community because I don't go to Broomfield High School, but they treat me as one of their own. And I really appreciate it and all the support. So thank you.
Thank you, Shayla. We'll now move to public comments. If anyone would like to make a comment, please come to the podium and state your name and neighborhood for the record. For anyone using the call-in service, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak on this item. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sam Barajas. I'm the assistant coach, and I'm also Shayla and Bella's dad. But I also wanted to do a shout out for Coach Lucy. I didn't really say it in the banquet, but without her support, like she said, it's her first year, but she's here to build a program around, you know, the girls that we have, and starts off with Shayla and Bella. And like I said, one good thing about Shayla, she's undefeated this year, so hopefully she keeps this undefeated streak going. But one thing I wanted to say, just congratulations to Shayla and the team and the Broomfield swim team. You guys are awesome. But once again, thanks, Coach Lucy. That's what I wanted to tell you. Thank you. Thank you.
Comments from council are next. Are there any comments? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I'm Myra and I live in Westminster, and I space it, but we want to say congrats to Shayla too, because I remember seeing her in the assembly last year and thinking how cool it was that she was the only person to be there as a girls wrestler and being there. I don't even know what I don't even think another sport was there. It was just her, and she was all by herself up there representing her school, and she doesn't even go to Broomfield, and she did it like a boss. So I just want to say congrats to you for doing that.
That's good. Councilmember Peterson?
I just want to say congratulations. It's an amazing accomplishment. You're clearly a great leader, and I'm glad that you have such a supportive community around you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hinkle?
I just have one question. Did you go to a charter school nearby, or you go to Monarch High School? Yeah. I think there's even other like swim teams that if you're at Peak to Peak, they swim at Monarch or other schools. So that's great that you've been able to wrestle for another school. So I think that's really cool.
Thank you. We are very proud to recognize and congratulate Shayla on her incredible achievement as a state champion in wrestling. Shayla's determination, resilience, and relentless work ethic have set her apart as a true competitor and role model. Her success reflects not only her personal commitment to excellence, but also the strength of her support system and of those around her, including her coaches, teammates, and family. Shayla's accomplishment is a source of great pride for the Broomfield community, and we celebrate her outstanding season and this well-earned championship. Thank you. We wish you the best in the U.S. Open, and would you like to join us for a photo?
Thank you for having us. We have to go to various practices and activities, but we appreciate you. Thank you. Have an amazing meeting.
Next, under petitions and communications this evening is a proclamation declaring the week of April 19th, 2026 as National Library Week in Broomfield. Will the representatives here to accept the proclamation please come to the podium? I will now summarize the proclamation. Libraries are a vital community space that sparks creativity, inspires lifelong learning, and provides opportunities for discovery for people of all ages. They ensure free and equitable access to books, information, digital resources, and innovative programs, supporting individuals from all backgrounds in their ability to learn, connect, and thrive. Through diverse collections and inclusive services, libraries reflect and serve the unique needs of their communities. In addition to their educational and cultural impact, libraries contribute to economic vitality by offering technology access, building literary skills, and supporting job seekers, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. As cornerstones of democracy, they promote the free exchange of ideas, encourage civic engagement, and enrich communities. In recognition of these contributions, libraries and their supporters nationwide come together to celebrate National Library Week. Therefore, as Mayor Pro Tem, I hereby declare and proclaim the week of April 19th, 2026 as Library Week in Broomfield. Would the representatives like to make any remarks?
We would, and we have some props.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, Councilmember Hangle. We do. We like to think so. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I'm Allison Harvey, Deputy Director of Library Arts History and CSU Extension.
And I'm Zaina Moya. I'm the Library Programming Manager, and we just would like to thank you officially for recognizing National Library Week and really affirming the vital role that Broomfield Library plays in this community. And we really appreciate the support you've shown to the library and our whole department.
We're here with some colleagues and library board members tonight in support. And I just wanted to thank the creative and dedicated team that we have. The theme of this year's National Library Week is Find Your Joy, and this team brings so much joy to make Broomfield Library a welcoming and inclusive public space open 7 days a week. Our staff work hard to dismantle barriers to access and make sure people are connected with the information and the services that they need. And we're committed to creating an equitable space where people from all backgrounds and of all ages don't just visit, they explore, gather, create, and thrive. We had about 226,000 visitors in the library in 2025. We provided 20,000 public computer sessions and 10,000 hours of study room time. In this digital world, a lot of libraries are finding that their digital checkouts are surpassing checkouts of physical items, but here in Broomfield, we still love a physical book. And about 75% of our 700,000 annual checkouts are physical items.
So, and I feel like I can say this as somebody who really recently moved to Broomfield last August, but the Broomfield Public Library team is so passionate about serving this community. It goes far beyond books. We have and periodicals and databases, all the things you think of when you think of libraries. We also are a powerful financial resource, allowing residents to check out specialty items that reduce household costs. For example, I'm not sure that everybody knows, but you can check out a Wi-Fi hotspot. You can check out a telescope. We have DVDs, we have video games. We are more than just books. And it's also okay, and you can use your library card to check out experience passes, which gives you free access to the state parks and the butterfly pavilion, which honestly kind of like beautiful, but freaks me out if I'm being honest. But I love that for everybody else. This is great. You can also go to the Botanic Gardens and so much more, all just by having access to your library card. And also cannot forget all the many, many online resources to newspapers and courses and movies and television. So like so much more than just books and so much more than just the ebooks as well. The library truly is a place where people can learn and play and build community. People rely on us for free or low cost critical support like access to computers, to internet, printing, copying, and getting one-on-one help with really complex reference questions, which you would be surprised at some of the different types of things that we take on and help people through. In addition, we also offer tons of programs and services that support lifelong learning, early literacy, workforce readiness, and life skills, as well as it provides social and cultural enrichment. At the library, you can join a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, which is my favorite. You can also join a Magic the Gathering tournament or a book club, get help with technology, writing, English language learning. You can get your GED, which I was like so astounded by when I first moved here and thought that that was an excellent service for the library to provide and was amazing. You can learn about AI or how to spot scams. You can attend a history lecture, enjoy a great story time. You can read to a dog even if you're a cat person like myself, you can still read to a dog. And we have our Pokemon club. We have Halloween swaps, puzzles, plants. Honestly, I can stand up here all night and tell you about all the different services that we provide. One that I in particular want to point out is our One Book, One Broomfield program, in addition to so many more things that we do. So this is where I need my van at white. Come on, grab your stuff. Right now. Okay, so I'm also going to talk about how you can experience hands-on learning at Invent HQ, the library's makerspace over at Six Garden Center. And we have some of the many examples of different things that you can do and make over at Invent HQ. We have a variety of things that you can enjoy during our open hours, like 3D printing, laser cutters, digital embroidery, hat situation sublimation, that's the word I'm looking for, button making, sewing machines, hobby electronics, and so much more. And it's a very beginner friendly space. That's one thing we have been told that people really appreciate about Broomfield's Makerspace particularly, is how it is a no cost and how it is so open and available, even if you have no clue what you're doing. And I know that for a fact because they hired me and allowed me to manage that space, even though I had no clue what I was doing, and I've learned so much. Though overall, the library serves the Broomfield community with all of this and more, providing free access to information and opportunities for informal learning and growth, all in pursuit of our vision of a thriving and connected Broomfield where we all belong.
We're almost done, but we have a parting gift for you. We have copies of this year's One Book, One Broomfield pick, The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. We'll distribute, our lovely assistants will distribute these now. If you haven't read it yet, you're in for a treat. Author TJ Klune will be here giving talks on November 5th. I'm gonna make sure I get that date right. And we are really looking forward to that. Okay. We'd like to close by thanking the Library Advisory Board. I'll just wait. Thank you.
In case it wasn't clear, they also work at the library. We didn't grab these people off the street. Yeah, and throw t-shirts on us.
So we want to thank the Library Advisory Board, who works hard to, help us through matters of policy and strategic direction. We also would like to thank the Broomfield Library Friends Foundation, who are great at raising funds for us. They're out there tonight, right now, at Chicken and Pickle, raising funds for the library. So after the council meeting, if you want to check that out, go for it. And then the many, many volunteers who make the library such a great place. And some of them have been here longer than any of us have even worked in Broomfield. The impact at the library and beyond the walls of the library and Invent HQ is transformative. In our experience, library joy, it's contagious. So we invite council members and community members to come down and experience the innovation at Invent HQ, come feel the welcoming environment in the library, and just get a chance to really discover the community value that you're supporting by supporting this work. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments and questions from council are next. Are there any comments or questions? Councilmember Peterson.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for reminding us about all the amazing programs that are available at the library. I particularly enjoy being a part of the One Book, One Broomfield program, and I have read this book before, and I love it because it reminds me that we're all a bit odd, but imperfectly wonderful, and about how valuable it is to have a space to go to that is welcoming to all. And the library is that for Broomfield. So I appreciate that. And you also gave us the children's book, the Turtle book. So thank you for that. And I would love to talk with you more about making past copies of the selected books available at the Refuge. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Twist. Oh, no. Well, go ahead, Councilmember Twist. I was thinking of you proactively all day when I knew this was coming up. I wanted you to be the first one to talk. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and that's fair. Library Week is one of my favorite holidays. Um, Particularly Monday, January 20th is the Freedom to Read Day. Freedom to read is being challenged across the country, now more so than ever. Just in the last 14 months, more than 100 pro-censorship bills were introduced in state legislatures across the country. At least 40 of those bills would penalize libraries and library workers with lawsuits, fines, or even jail time for protecting people's right to read. I just want to say how thankful I am that we live in a community where access to information and freedom to express ideas and be fully a part of our community is not only welcomed, but encouraged and supported. I have the distinct honor of participating in Library World in my professional life. And I'm frequently at conferences and meetings with folks from across the state at different libraries. And I am always hearing, well, hey, they do that in Broomfield. How does that work? You know, our library staff here in Broomfield are exceptional. And I don't say that lightly. The services and the programs and the care that they put into creating these spaces for everyone in our community is truly remarkable. So thank you. And we'll hear from you in a bit. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Hingle.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Anytime I have an answer to a lot of people in the community, it's like the library offers that. But wait, there's more. I always feel like I'm in a commercial. You know, any sort of space where people are like, hey, where could I meet someone that it's not coffee, it's a public space? I say library. Anytime someone says, you know, where can I find a resource for this? It's the library. And so I'm just super excited about our programming. And then I was emailing Julie today about an idea of, you know, if we can auto-enroll people into the draft, we could auto-enroll new babies into our library programs with new memberships. And I feel like that would be really cool. And apparently there is also a system already for babies that are set up, but I'm wondering if we can even just bring a certificate to the hospitals and give it to the families. Say, come to the library and we'll give you your free membership. So I think it'd be kind of cool. Yes. Yes. Here's your welcome bag. Start reading. Yes. When I stayed home with my kids after I taught high school, I felt like an idiot, but I was talking about chlorophyll and stupid things like that. But I think it's just cool, just, you know, the voice from parent to child. And I think that there's a comfort in that. And so anyway, I just, libraries provide a good comfort to a lot of our community members. So thank you for being a welcoming space for everyone.
Thank you. Councilmember Cohen.
I'll be quick, just to follow up on Councilmember Hinkle's comments. My dad's an author, so I pretty much grew up in a library because he would go there and research and I'd have to find something to do. And there was lots to do in the library. And I have a little library in my front yard, so I guess I can be part of Library Week too in some way. But I did want to cite the one book. You guys are on the cutting edge because just today I got in my Facebook feed the trailer for Remarkably Bright Creatures, the movie. And if you look up on IMDb, you'll find a reference to Broomfield in the trivia because it was that one book, one Broomfield presentation that I attended that she mentioned Sally Field was going to star in the movie. So you've made some history there, but I look forward to reading this. I'm sure it's just as good as the octopus. It's as good as the octopus book, right? Promise? Okay. Thank you.
Hey, any other comments? Well, thank you for being here and for bringing awareness to these important issues. And I'm sorry, did we have any public comment? Thank you. Oh, I'm doing
Roxy Jula Lockmore. I want to say I greatly appreciate our library, our staff, our workers, and all the volunteers that brings everything together. The library is not just a building. It is a community. And it's not just one building. We have projects kind of scattered around, but that's the best way that a library can work in our community. And I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ms. Jewell. I apologize for skipping public comments.
Jesse Applegate, Country Estates. I just want to, I can either look at you guys or I can talk into the microphone. Got to make a choice here. I just wanted to thank you guys for all the work you've done on this. The Broomfield Public Library has been a fixture in my life for as long as I've been conscious. So about, 16 years now. And it's been incredibly useful coming through and incredibly fun. My brother is always dancing at the auditorium. A lot of his dances are going on there. And you guys are not only, keeping the home fires burning, but you're sticking with the times. You're giving us more things that we can do, more things to access. I've been incredibly happy to have you guys. So I want to thank you all.
Thank you. And we will present you with the proclamation. Thank you. Next up is council member reports. Does any member of council have any reports or updates this evening? Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I actually just wanted to give a shout out to our very own Broomfield Symphony Orchestra. They put on a fabulous concert last weekend. It's been a great season. They've highlighted a lot of local artists. They featured a world premiere piece last weekend by a local composer, and then the show before that had a local guitarist. So it's been a great season. I just wanted to say, if you haven't had a chance to catch one of their concerts yet this year, the final show is coming up on May 16th, and you would hear the winners of the Young Artists Competition. We've seen a lot of our local young talented folks here tonight, and there's plenty more. It's also a great experience with the new auditorium improvements that went into place last year. So I just want to give kudos to everyone involved with that project. The acoustics are amazing out there. We're really blessed to have such a strong community orchestra, and in a time when local arts are struggling, I just want to encourage everyone to check them out if you're so inclined. That's all. Thanks.
Are there any other council member reports? Okay, I'll chime in. One event that's coming up this Saturday is Broomfield Earth Day. It's taking place at Paul Durda Rec Center from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Event highlights garden tool swap, community seed swap, bike repair station, and EV showcase. Council has been busy as spring events have started. Council has been invited to attend various tech businesses in the area. So we wanted to thank Lightship, Amplified Space, and Thursday we go to Leap in Interlochen. We have some wonderful tech businesses that we're lucky to have in Broomfield that support certainly our economic vitality, and we are appreciative of the opportunity in council to get to visit them. The Environmental Sustainability Group also visited Sustainability in Westminster. It's a hard to recycle facility recently, and we're looking at the possibility of adapting that to Broomfield. And then as an individual, as Mayor Pro Tem, I recently had the opportunity to be a reader at Cole Elementary School Literacy Night. That was a wonderful event for parents and children. We had the North Metro Station 68 groundbreaking ceremony on April 2nd. We're looking forward to that station. And let's see, today at the Broomfield Police Department, we recognize National Crime Victims Week with the victims advocates and police and community partners. Last week, I attended the North Glen High School problem-based learning competition, and they featured a Broomfield topic, American 250, the story of our northern communities problem. It was looking at the city of Broomfield's historical events, and the students made creative exhibits that will eventually be judged by the teachers, and a few will be chosen to be on display in the Depot Museum in August. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you. We will now continue with public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to comment on matters other than the items already listed elsewhere in this evening's agenda. Before we begin the public comment, I want to acknowledge the council has received correspondence in advance of tonight's meeting regarding both the Broomfield Town Square project and a recent housing survey. Emails received are available in the correspondence folder linked to the council agenda. Deputy City Manager Casey, could you please provide some additional information regarding these community areas of concern?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. First, regarding the Broomfield Town Square, the council study session next Tuesday, April 21st, will include an update on the Broomfield Town Square. Specifically, that discussion will cover the developer's request for a deadline extension related to issuing building permits. During that meeting, council will receive a staff presentation, hear directly from the developer, and hear comments before making a decision about the path forward. Public comments, sorry. It's important to note that no final decision will be taken at the study session. Any formal decisions that occur will happen at a subsequent council business meeting. Secondly, concerning the housing survey, this new survey or poll is being conducted by the Broomfield Housing Stability Task Force. The city and county of Broomfield is neither conducting nor funding this survey. And if you have questions or feedback about the survey or would like more details, please contact the Housing Stability Task Force directly, and their website is broomfieldhousingfund.org. Again, broomfieldhousingfund.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager Casey. Now, if there is anyone who'd like to be heard, please come to the podium for public comment and state your name and neighborhood for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Brian Yawk. I'm the owner of Arista Wine and Spirits in Arista Place. I remember 4 years ago, I was standing here, almost exactly 4 years ago, for a transfer of ownership to get a liquor license. And obviously, you guys approved it because therefore the owner. But, you know, we've had a lot of trials and tribulations, you know, these past few years. One of the largest ones is the parking situation in Arista Place. Have all of you know Arista Place, you know the area? You know, I'm sure, you know, a lot of you, well, if you've all been down there, I mean, you know that, you know, the parking is limited, especially for the storefronts that require in and out business, like mine. I'm really the only business there that is an in and out business. So I've been fighting to get time limited parking spaces for my store for 3 years. And I'm really frustrated because in 2023, when I first brought it up, it was pretty much poo-pooed, can't do it. The ultimate decision was it wouldn't be approved because Broomfield didn't have the funds to have police enforce the spaces, which I challenge because, you know, we have so many signs at parks, public spaces that say, don't keep off the grass, no smoking. Those are sanctioned by Broomfield, but not necessarily enforced. I mean, the public can police themselves. I don't think government needs to insert themselves in every area to make sure people are following the rules. So I do have some supporting documentation. I mean, some of you know, maybe some of you recognize my name because I copied pretty much all of you on the emails. I did a survey of, we did a petition back in 2023 even. Got over 500 signatures in 8 days. Uh-oh, damn, have I been talking that long already? Sorry about that. Well, I guess, so I did another petition in 2025. We got another 500 signatures in 7 days. It's just, we've been robbed numerous times. But again, that hasn't even impacted as much as the parking situation in Arista, which tells you how serious it really is. We're a family owned store, me and my son, beat the clock here. If any of you visit my store, we're very much a part of the community. People love us. We love them. It's for the people. It's not just for me. So I implore you, please stop delaying the attention to this because it has been going on for 3 years. You guys were supposed to review it next week. And it got pushed again to May. It's been pushed for years. So please, pay some attention to it. I'd really appreciate it. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. There any other public comment? There's no public comment from the phone. So we will continue with any staff reports. First off, we have the 2026 legislative session update. Staff, could you please help us out with that?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And we have John Whiting, our Strategic Initiatives Manager.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, John Whiting, Strategic Initiatives Manager, here tonight to provide you all with a brief update on the legislative session. Can I get the next slide? So the presentation this evening will include 3 components. First, I'll provide a general update on the legislative session. Second, information on the Broomfield bill trackers. And finally, a summary of legislation that staff has flagged for council awareness, including a status update on the bills that council has previously taken positions on, as well as other legislative topics of interest. Can I get the next slide? So the session kicked off on January 14th and is scheduled to conclude on May 13th, which means we have crossed the 1-month remaining barrier as of today. Around 575 bills have been introduced so far, which is fairly consistent with the number of bills introduced at this point in the session in previous years. On April 6th, House Bill 1410, the long bill, the state's budget, was introduced. And the Joint Budget Committee, or the JBC, had to draft this bill with the backdrop of a $1.5 billion structural deficit. This bill actually passed out of the Senate Appropriations today, and it's expected that it'll be heard and passed out of the Senate this week. The conference committee, the JBC, will then meet to work out the differences between the House and Senate versions of this bill, and then it'll be sent to the governor. It's not expected that there'll be any significant changes from what was introduced to what ultimately gets signed by the governor. Next slide. So there are 2 bill trackers for your awareness. The first is the Council Priority Bill Tracker. This is limited to only the bills that Council has taken a position on, and it is shared with our legislators and legislative partners. And the second is the General CCOB Bill Tracker. These are for bills that have an impact to the CCB organization and that we're monitoring to see kind of how they change and morph throughout the session. Next slide. All right, so Council has taken positions on 8 bills so far this session. 4 of these bills are complete. So if you look at the bottom half of the screen there, 3 have failed to pass: House Bill 1329, House Bill 1334, and Senate Bill 24. Whereas House Bill 1001, that bill did pass and was signed. Of the bills that are still in play, so I'm going to be briefly speaking to Bill number 1 and actually Bill number 3 on the screen there. These are the 2 lot splitting bills that council's taken positions on. The first one, House Bill 1114, allowed minimum lot size for subject jurisdictions. This bill prohibited subject jurisdictions like Broomfield from requiring a residential parcel to be larger than 2,000 square feet if the parcel's residential use allows for a single family home. Council took an opposed position to this bill. It's currently scheduled to be heard in the Senate Local Government Housing Committee on April 23rd, so a week from this Thursday. The second lot splitting bill, House Bill 1308, lot splitting approval by subject jurisdictions. This would allow a residential lot to be of at least 2,000 square feet to be split into 2 smaller lots. Council took an amend position to this bill, and it's also going to be heard in the same committee on April 23rd. So we'll be monitoring that, and we'll be prepared for that. The third bill still in play that council took a position on is House Bill 1144, prohibit 3D printing firearms and components. This bill prohibits 3-dimensional manufacturing of firearms, possession of digital instructions for 3-dimensional printing of firearms, and distribution of digital firearm production instructions. Council took a support position of this bill. It has passed out of both chambers. And the final bill council took a position on that's still in play is Senate Bill 40, Affordable Home Ownership Program. Council took an amend position to that bill. It passed out of the House Transportation, Housing, and Local Government Committee today, and it's scheduled for second reading in the House this Thursday. Can I get the next slide, please? So the first legislative item we wanted to bring to your attention is Senate Bill 26150, Modernizing Regional Transportation District. This bill makes changes to the Regional Transportation District, which we'll call RTD from here on out, based on the 2025-2026 Accountability Committee recommendations. The first change is that it makes to the RTD board is that it makes a change to the RTD board composition effective January 1st, 2029. It would reduce the current 15 elected board members to 9 total members. 5 would be elected, 4 would be appointed by the governor. These 4 appointed members must collectively possess expertise in areas like finance, transit operations, and multimodal planning. A minimum of 1 current or former of these members have to be a union member. 2 of the governor appointed members will be selected from a list provided by DRCOG. And then per amendment L009 from Senator Lindstedt, there is now language in the bill that requests for consideration for geographic and demographic diversity within these appointed members. The 5 elected directors would represent newly drawn compact districts based on both population and the most recently available district ridership numbers. Can I get the next slide? So continuing on with Senate Bill 150, the second change has to do with the accountability rules. The board would have to set policies specifically designed to grow ridership. The governor would also be granted the authority to remove appointed members for unexcused absences, malfeasance, or undisclosed conflicts of interest. And the final change is around paratransit and reporting, which would have to be implemented by December 31st of 2027. Would require RTD to complete a third-party comprehensive analysis for paratransit services by December 31st of this year. They would have to submit a timeline for implementing the 2025-2026 RTD Accountability Committee's recommendations, and the paratransit plan must address what they refer to as fiscal sustainability in the plan. Next slide, please. So there's some potential impact to the city and county of Broomfield that we wanted to bring to your attention. The first is Broomfield with lower ridership, but providing significant tax funding. We referenced the $20 million a year. May see its representation diluted if ridership is a factor, given the limited number of transit services. The board's mandate to grow ridership district-wide may lead to resources being reallocated to higher density areas. And finally, requiring a plan for fiscal sustainability regarding paratransit services, such as things like Access-a-Ride, suggests that if these costs are federally mandated and services rise, then the local fixed route services may be reduced to maintain a fiscal balance. Looking at positions that our memberships have taken, the Northwest mayors and commissioners have taken a monitor position on this bill. Can I get the next slide, please? So the final legislative area we want to bring to your attention is Initiative 175. This is a ballot initiative update. This measure, if passed, would create a constitutional requirement for the state to dedicate existing transportation-related taxes and fees to road and bridge infrastructure beginning in 2027. There is a trade-off on this. Funds would have to be diverted from existing programs, including $540 million from the general fund. And we specifically call out K through 12 education, higher education, Medicaid, because those three areas comprise 71% of the general fund. $258 million would have to come from transportation fees generated from existing enterprise funds. And finally, $156 million from other transit-related cash funds, including the HUTF, or Highway Users Tax Fund, and the MMOF funds, or Multimodal Transportation Mitigation Options Fund. Can I get the next slide? So if council wishes to take a position on any of the items included in the staff presentation, it would be appropriate to do so this evening. Next slide. That concludes the staff presentation.
Thank you. We'll now proceed with public comments. If any residents are using the call-in service, they should indicate their desire to speak by pressing *9 to raise their hand. We will start with any in-person comments. And we welcome the mayor who is joining us remotely. Is there anyone on the phone who wishes to join? No, thank you. Questions and comments from council are next. Are there any questions or comments? Councilmember Ward.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So my first question is going to be on one of the bills that actually failed out of committee, which was House Bill 261329, and is really just like an overview. That was the street racing bill. My question is, are we going to see maybe a second attempt with some changes made as a late bill this session, or do we expect another attempt in a subsequent legislative session? And if you don't know, that is
I'm not sure,
perfectly acceptable
Councilmember,
answer.
but we will follow up
Okay.
in the CMO Weekly. I'll make note of that.
Great.
Actually, John, we have that answer. Councilmember Ward, we've received information that we are not to expect another bill this session.
Okay, so maybe next session.
Maybe.
Maybe, okay. My next question is going to be about SB 26150, the RTD modernization bill. Just so the public is aware, I have my own personal concerns with the bill, or amendments at least, that I submitted to Representative Wynn and Senator Lindstedt. Council has seen, I think all of council has seen those, that letter that I submitted to them. But one of the questions that I want to get into is around that ridership requirement in the bill. I was under the impression and understanding that no one was really entirely sure what that provision in the bill meant. Did it mean we're actually supposed to use kind of ridership information to help draw those demographic boundaries, and how would that ridership information be used? Have we received clarification on that specifically, or is that still kind of up in the air?
Thank you, Councilmember Ward. I'm going to ask my colleague, Sarah Grant, to come to the podium. She's the Deputy Director of Community Development and Transportation. She will help answer it.
Thank you, John. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Ward. Thank you for the question. I think that there is not a lot of clarity around that. So there are two pieces in the bill that reference ridership. One is around the representation for the district, so for the elected membership of the board. And there has not been any clarity at this point how that would be calculated, other than the ridership information would be provided to the committee redrawing the district boundaries. And then the second part around ridership is there's another component of the bill that provides a policy mandate for the board to include ridership, to grow ridership throughout the entire district as a policy.
Okay. Kind of tacking on to that grow ridership district-wide, is staff at least comfortable with that language? Because I assume the intent of that language is to ensure that services that currently have high ridership are not the ones that are extremely favored when funds are where funds are supposed to go, but should be distributed amongst the entire district. So is staff comfortable with that language, or would staff like to see more concrete language within the bill that really specifies that current areas that are not necessarily served by RTD should get maybe some priority in some way, shape, or form?
Thank you for the question. I think currently as it's stated that if that is included as the board mandate to increase ridership, that could be just grow numbers across the entire district, and it doesn't matter where those numbers come from or which community. So I think some guardrails around where ridership should be grown may be something that should be considered.
Okay. Have you all at staff kind of determined some potential amendment language if council is to take a formal position on this bill tonight?
If council is to take a formal position, staff would assist in those amendments.
Okay. That's really the only questions I have. I'll save everything else for comments later. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Councilmember Hinkle.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And I did speak with the sponsor on the motor vehicle stunt drive and takeover penalties since I was there for 7 hours, waiting for about 5 to testify. I will say that they plan on doing this next year. The pushback on that bill was the definition of the actual takeover. And I was just really disappointed because some of the questions on the Judicial Committee were saying, well, what's the difference between this and a funeral procession? And I thought, I think I trust our law enforcement and our permit. Like I want to say we give permits for things like that for a funeral procession. So that's one thing that it's just disappointing to hear on the committee that they haven't had like local experience. So I was just really disappointed. And, there's a lot of arguing between Democrats, and it was just disappointing. So there's a lot of distractions that day I felt from the actual bill. I want to say that I would like to work with the bill sponsors next year and bringing something back to, I guess, more define what a takeover looks like. And they said that they would be willing to do that. So we had a lot of people there. And next time I think we should get people to come and testify too. We had a lot of police officers there and a couple other people, but I feel like it's more important to hear from those who are impacted by these street takeovers. And we've had a lot of people die on the streets because of this. And then the sound issues, of course, that we have here in Broomfield. So would like to engage on that a little bit more. I did read your amendments, Councilmember Ward, and I appreciate that input, actually. The only one I disagreed with was the signatures, but I'm okay with 250 too. I think people can do 500, but I feel, like if whatever we have as a staff, I would like to amend that and just work on the ridership piece too, because I always feel like we're always overpaying for what we're getting out of RTD. So I'm willing to run amendments on that one. And then what was the other one you asked for? Oh, okay. I would not be for that one. Thanks.
Councilmember Anderson.
I want to share Councilmember Hinkle's frustration with the not passing anything related to street racing this year, and appreciate your efforts to try to get something passed. And I also want to just note on the RTD bill, this is quite timely, actually in the paper today. The Grove at Cottonwood right here in Ward 4 with 40 units serving those with developmental disabilities was actually denied RTD accessoride. So I think as we're thinking about the RTD bill, I think we should keep that forefront in our minds that we don't have accessoride for that community because they are 1,800 feet out of that boundary. So maybe there's something in this discussion where we can request some funding so we can get some transportation there for those individuals. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council comments? I guess I have a question. So we had some interest in the future of the Prop 123 baseline revisions and some other issues around Prop 123, but we didn't take any position on 1313, which I think has the Prop 123 revisions in it. Are we still talking to anyone about our revised baseline?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I have an inkling, but I'd like to follow up with council this Friday in the CMO Weekly, if that's okay, just to get you the most up-to-date information.
Okay, great. My other question is more general. So it seems like there's a lull at the moment where until the budget is passed with bills going into committee, and then all of a sudden there's going to be this deluge of bills coming forward. So how much do you anticipate as staff that there will be bills still coming forward that you will be sending more information to council about that you might recommend a position on?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So we do think that the budget will have a bit of a limiting factor on some of the bills, especially with the fiscal notes. There will be likely bills introduced up till the very end. If there's anything that's timely, we would follow procedure and try to seek council position on a bill through the CMO Weekly if needed, or through email or other sources. If we had to come to a council meeting, then we would schedule accordingly.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Ward?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I was treating this like a regular business item and not with a normal discussion period after the fact. I would motion that council take an amend position on SB 26-150.
That's fine. So Councilmember Ward has moved the council take an amend position on SB 26-150. Is there a second? Councilmember Delgadillo? Thank you. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Ward?
I mean, I have my list of 7 that I'll quickly run through. Council is free to take those on or not. I mean, my first concern with the bill is I think there should actually be 7 elected members instead of 5, with the governor having no discretionary appointments. I think 1 representative from the union and 1 selected by DRCOG is sufficient. My second concern is the signature collection. Currently, the bill states that there should be 1,000 signatures collected. I think there was some rumors that they might drop it to 500. I think it should stay at 250, but 500 I could potentially live with. You know, the whole point is to have as many people able to run and try and serve their community, and 1,000 signatures is quite a bit, especially for people that might have to take time off work or don't have the resources to pay for signature collection, which is extremely expensive. And additionally, this is a nonpartisan race, so there are no alternative options to get on the ballot but signature collection. My third concern is the vacancy appointment process. The bill, as my understanding, is to follow the current vacancy process that is outlined in the existing RTD statute, which is in multi-county districts such as District I, which Broomfield is a part of, along with Boulder County and parts of Adams County. The county with the largest voting bloc their Board of County Commissioners appoint the vacancy if one does occur. I don't think that's quite representative of the entire District I, for example. And I think a vacancy committee should be constituted, comprised of elected officials from all counties that are involved. How that number splits out, I'm open to whether it just be a group of county commissioners, also including cities in that potentially. How you deal with Denver and their whole process is another matter that I'm not going to get into. My other concern that I have is the compensation. So currently the compensation set forth in the new, in the bill is $36,000 for board members, and then the board chairs to receive 150% of that. So Part A, the overall compensation I think is too low. This is a very focused board designed to provide oversight of an agency that has a budget exceeding $1 billion and will only continue to grow into the future. And I think it requires a lot of time and effort to be able to provide that type of oversight. We see what happens with RTD right now when it fails to provide oversight. And so I think a full-time board is necessary for that. So pay should be set at least 1A county commissioner level. And because of that, I do not think the board chair should receive 150% pay. I think that's going to potentially create power dynamics that we should be trying to mitigate as much as possible. We have human beings involved. There will always be power dynamics, but increasing the board chair compensation only furthers those potential power dynamics, and I don't want that to happen. Besides that, those were my only, other than the potential amendment for kind of how we incorporate ridership to better address the concerns that many suburban communities have compared to the much more urbanized area of Denver, and then Aurora with a lot of individuals who are really transit dependent, making sure that that ridership is spread out accordingly across the district as a whole. Those are my amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Ward. Councilmember Hinkle.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I actually did forget about this part. I feel like we need to land on where this lands for CCOB specifically, and that's where staff gave those recommendations. So where you guys are seeing the CCOB impact, I think is important to note, and running any amendments that we're seeing any CCOB impact. I know that Councilmember Ward has a lot to say about transportation, and I feel like it's important too. I do disagree though with, I think it's okay to have the 4 appointed members. What I've noticed is that we do lack a lot of expertise on the board. So I actually agree with the 4 appointed. It does not outweigh the 5 elected. So they still have a majority in the elected, but I think that that part is fine. And then I like everything else that Councilmember Ward said, but I want to put an emphasis on the CCOB impact because that's where our staff is saying it affects all of us in our city and county, and that's where I'm landing with that. Thank you.
Councilmember Ward.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I only want to push back on the need for expertise on the board. And I say that because your expertise should be your staff. They should be the ones that are able to provide you the information, do the research, much like that is the reason we have staff here. We don't have appointed members on the city council or on boards of county commissions, for example. And so I'm not entirely sold on that. We need 4 appointed members to provide specific expertise in finance and land use. And I think there were a few other provisions within the bill for what those expertise need to be. That is staff's job, and currently that staff is not necessarily, in my view, performing to the best of their ability because they have failed oversight from that board.
Thank you. Councilmember Hinkle.
There is a I think you're noting that though, that Councilmember Ward, I agree on the fact that there is a mistrust on staff. So that's why they want to bring in the expertise by a governor appointed people onto there, but I'll let staff weigh in. Thanks.
Well, this is discussion of, we made the motion and seconded the motion. This is discussion of the motion on the floor. Could staff just possibly before we vote, could staff please just review what they understand is the amendments that they would be pursuing if we go forward with Councilmember Ward's motion?
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to clarify. I believe I heard there should be 7 amendments. I think I got 6, so please correct me if I'm wrong. I have 1 amendment to support 7 elected instead of 5. 2 appointed, 1 union appointed, 1 appointed for the union representation and 1 appointed from DRCOG, and none should be appointed by the governor. A third one I have is reduce the number of signatures required to get on the ballot from 1,000 to 250. Number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, vacancy process, and the vacancy a committee should be convened, including all counties representative and not just the largest county that's represented by that district. Compensation, that needs to be a full-time job and at a county commissioner level. And that the chair should not be 150%. I am not sure if there was a dollar amount that is being suggested or if all the representatives should be paid the same. So clarification on that may be helpful. And then number 6 is concerns about ridership and needing ridership to be grown across the district. So I believe that's 6.
That was 6. I'm just running through my notes. That sounds about right. Overall number, because I think we really just combined the elected versus appointed into 1. And I had broken them out into 2, really. So that's fine. In terms of clarification, I did not have a dollar amount for the board chair. I just don't think it should be 150%. It should be lower if they're going to pay the board chair a little more, understanding that there are probably some administrative duties that go above and beyond what a normal director would be required to do. And then I just want to make one last clarification point, which is for the appointments, my understanding is state law still requires that the governor has to be the official appointing authority, but my amendments are that the governor doesn't have a discretionary, so he can't just pick anyone. It's, as the bill is written right now, it's ATU 1001, which is the largest union representing RTD employees, has to give a slate of 3 to the governor, and the governor picks from that slate. DRCOG has to provide the governor with a slate, and the governor selects from that slate, but he can't go outside of that slate. So I just want to make that kind of minor clarification given what current state law is.
Thank you. That's very helpful. We'll take all of these together, and I believe we understand the 6 amendments that are being requested. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Twist, did you have another point of discussion?
I was just going to say that I support Councilmember Ward's amendments. I care less about the pay differential, but I don't feel strongly about that. And I wanted to thank Councilmember Ward for deep dive on this. The notes and everything that you provided was really helpful for understanding the larger picture of this. Thank you.
Thank you. That closes council discussion. And just to note that Councilmember McKenzie has joined the meeting in person. Council, please cast your vote on this motion electronically.
Mayor Pro Tem, as council is voting, Councilmember McKenzie and I were exchanging messages. Since he did join mid this conversation and after the staff presentation, I believe Councilmember McKenzie, you're not going to be voting on this matter.
Correct.
Thank you for that clarification. Okay, all council members have entered their vote. The results will now be displayed on the screen. That position of amend on 150 passes 8-1. Are there any other motions related to legislation? Councilmember Ward.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I would motion that council take an opposed position to Proposition 175.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Councilmember Brown.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Ward.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I think given the kind of overall budgetary constraints already imposed by Tabor, I think an additional constitutional amendment that requires a certain dollar amount or a percentage of dollars go directly to state funding of roads in particular is an unwise kind of thing for us to be taking on. We've seen what happens when we impose certain restrictions within the state budget and certain requirements around expenditures of certain areas of state interest. And this, it just furthers that kind of pain that we as citizens of the state of Colorado and what elected officials when drafting a budget and having to make trade-offs around very important and challenging areas does.
Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
Yeah, I agree with Councilmember Ward. I think this is earmarking our state funds in a time where we need maximum flexibility. I fully support critical infrastructure needs, but ultimately feel like this is defunding our progress on alternative transport. So for that reason, I am supporting the opposition, yes, of this. Thanks.
Okay, seeing no more discussion. Council, please cast your vote on this motion electronically to oppose Initiative 175.
Mayor Pro Tem.
You're not.
Okay, good.
Okay, so all council members have voted. The results will now be displayed on the screen. That passes 9-0. Thank you. Are there any other motions related to legislation? Seeing none, that completes our discussion and votes on pending legislation. We will now continue with the reports section of the agenda. Deputy City Manager Casey or Attorney Rogers, do you have any reports this evening?
Mayor Pro Tem, I do not.
No, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Great. Thank you. Council's consideration of the consent items is next. The clerk will read all of the consent items by title, and there will be one opportunity for public comments and council questions and comments. Will the clerk please read agenda items 6A through 6H by title?
6A, approval of minutes for the regular council meeting of March 24th, 2026. 6B, proposed resolution number 2026-37, authorizing a maintenance service agreement and annual aggregate spending with Motorola Solutions, Inc. for citywide purchase of radio communication equipment, service, maintenance, and monitoring. 6C, proposed resolution number 2026-38, approving the construction agreement with Top Notch Pavement Solutions, LLC for the construction of parking lot improvements as part of the annual parking lot repair replacement citywide program. 6D, proposed resolution number 2026-36, approving the issuance of a water license for Tamaya High Water Company. 6E, proposed resolution number 2026-50, approving the Second Amendment to the consulting agreement with WSB LLC for construction management services related to the State Highway 7 widening from I-25 to Sheridan Improvements Project. 6F, proposed resolution number 2026-54, approving the reappointment of Lindsay McGee, Emergency Management Coordinator, and the appointment of Randy Delaney, EMS Chief, to the Mile High Regional Emergency Medical and Trauma Services Advisory Council, RETAC. 6G, proposed resolution number 2026-53, authorizing and approving annual aggregate spending with statewide Internet Portals Authority, SIPA, for procurement of cloud-based software. 6H, Broomfield High School Just After Midnight Jam After Prom Extravaganza 2026 event sponsorship.
Thank you. We will now proceed with public comments. If any residents are using the call-in service, they should indicate their desire to speak by pressing *9 to raise their hand. We will start with in-person comments. If there's anyone who'd like to be heard, please come to the podium and state your name and neighborhood for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Kim Tuisinipansai from The Outlook. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, and staff. And I would like to speak on behalf of JAM. Some of you guys may know that I've been involved in JAM since 2005, so that's 21 years. And it's an amazing program. You know, the whole point is to keep our kids safe by giving them something wonderful to do after prom. And it's a long tradition that's been going on for 35 years or so. And it costs money. It costs money to buy the supplies, provide the free food, provide the prizes. You know, there's a whole team of people that work really diligently to get sponsorships from the local community, and also ask the parents to chip in money and fundraise. And so every dollar is put to good use. And so I strongly support any funds that you can provide to help further this great program. And also I wanted to mention that JAM is going to be May 2nd, Saturday, May 2nd is prom, and then JAM. And there's always a public open house from 7 to 9 p.m. at the high school. And it's amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, and if you have seen it, please come this year. It's going to be a spectacular program, and the public is invited to come and see all the wonderful work that's done to set this up. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment? Okay. Next is public comment from individuals joining via phone. Please press *9 to indicate your desire to provide public comment. Once called to speak, please state your first and last name and neighborhood for the record. We don't have any public comment this evening. Does any member of council have comments on these agenda items? Seeing none, is there a motion by council that consent items 6A through 6H be approved? Councilmember Brown.
So moved.
Is there a second? Councilmember Twist.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, council, please cast your vote electronically. All council members have entered their vote. The results will now be displayed on the screen. That passes 10-0. First, under action items is the public hearing and council's consideration of a resolution related to a rezoning application for a parcel located at 8320 Park Street. I'll now declare the public hearing open. We will follow the city's standard public hearing procedures. First, staff will present a summary of the proposal. Next, we will have the applicant's presentation, if applicable. Then we will ask for public comments and final comments from the applicant. And finally, questions from the city council members. Following council questions, I will close the hearing. Following the hearing will be council's discussion, consideration, and vote on the application based on the applicable criteria stated in the code. Council has a copy of the agenda memorandum, which I'll ask our staff to summarize.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Judy Hammer, our principal planner, will do this presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council. Thank you for the introduction. The property, we can change slides, sorry. The property is located to the east of US Highway 36, south of Park Street and east of Commerce Street. The request is to rezone a low-density residential 0.41 acre property to employment mixed use. Next slide, please. For context, the area is characterized by a mix of land uses, including commercial, light industrial, and service-related uses to the north and residential uses to the south and west. This area includes properties that have remained vacant for several decades, which includes the subject property. The property to the west, east, and south are zoned residential. There is an existing residence immediately to the south of the property highlighted here. The property to the west also contains a residence at the westernmost portion of the L-shaped lot. The properties to the north and northeast are zoned for and developed with light industrial uses, and those are along Commerce Street to the top of your screen. And the property to the east and across Commerce Street is also zoned R1, but is undeveloped. Next slide, please. The proposed rezoning to MU2 is consistent with the comprehensive plan land use map designation, which is industrial. As you can see by this image, the areas to the north, or to the south, north, and east are also designated as industrial per the comprehensive plan land use map. And it's characterized by, this area is characterized as susceptible to change per the comprehensive plan. Industrial uses and infrastructure improvements that have occurred are occurring to the northwest along West 120th Avenue and south of the neighborhood. This map shown here is circled in red, and that shows the property. It's the original neighborhood plan, and it identifies the subject property as designated for office / flex in light industrial. This designation allows for a variety of uses, including indoor, commercial, and recreational uses. It indicates that this area is notable for its greatest variety of uses, including light industrial, business, commercial, residential, and undeveloped parcels. The plan calls for new development to be visually attractive and with generous landscaping, enhanced streetscapes, quality building materials, and appropriate uses. Next slide, please. The following sets out the review process so far. A concept plan review was held online from March 19th to April 21. The Land Use Review Commission heard the rezoning request on February 28, 2026, and voted 4-0 to recommend approval. The applicant hosted a neighborhood meeting in the summer where 3 residents attended to learn more about the project. Noticing was accomplished per the Broomfield Municipal Code requirements. Next slide, please. This slide lists the allowed uses under the MU2 zone district subject to a site development plan. And I won't read through them, but I just did want to, call them to your attention with respect to what the permitted uses are. And if you want me to, I can go to the next slide, or if you want to look at this just a little bit. Okay. In the next slide, please. This also lists some of the potential uses that would be allowed within the MU2 zone district. As a highlight, these include offices, outdoor equipment storage, enclosed and screened parking structures, and parks and recreation facilities, retail stores, and veterinary clinics. Next slide, please. I did want to highlight for you that there is a typo in the staff report where it incorrectly noted that the maximum building height is 50 feet, but it actually is 60 feet per the design standards outlined under the MU2 zone district. So with that, I corrected my verbiage with respect to the key issue so that it doesn't read 50 feet, it actually reads 60 feet at the second bullet there. So let me know if you have any questions, but the following key issue was identified in the staff report: compatibility of the MU2 zoning and the surrounding area. And just to read it for the record, this allows for a wide range of uses to potentially locate on the lot, as I showed you in the previous couple slides. The uses may range in height from 30 feet within 50 feet of the property line, adjacent to any low-density residential district, and up to 60 feet in height in other areas of the lot. So the building would effectively be stair-stepped up if they wanted to. Minimum setbacks will range from 8 to 10 feet on all sides, depending on the building orientation. Guiding documents identify the area as susceptible to change, as I noted earlier, and envision the area redeveloping with office flex and light industrial uses. The intent behind the land use designation is to preserve affordable office flex, light industrial uses within Broomfield. The parcel is relatively small to accommodate a mix of uses. The applicant intends to develop it as a pickleball facility and has not indicated other uses that may co-locate on the site. This site could be proposed for development with any of the other permitted uses approved through final plat and a site development plan. Future development of the site will comply with the permitted use and development standards established by the MU2 zone district. A future application could include a request for deviations from the established standards, which would be subject to land use review recommendation and approval and city council call-up, because it's less than 7 acres. This concludes staff's presentation. And then the following standards apply for a rezoning request from R1 to MU2 for the subject property that are on this slide. That concludes my presentation. Unless you have questions for me, the applicant is available to provide more details on the project.
Thank you. Next is the applicant presentation. Just as we ask staff to keep their presentations brief, I ask the applicant to be concise in their presentation. Will the applicant's representative please identify themselves for the record before beginning their brief presentation this evening?
I'm Vincent Colson. Thank you. I live in original Town Superior, not Broomfield. My wife and I are basketball players, but basketball is getting cannibalized by pickleball. So now we're pickleball players. We kind of fell in love with pickleball via Relish, which is in Louisville. It's like this 24-court banger that's got good food and it's really fun. The problem is they have 4 different memberships and all of them are waitlisted. They have hundreds of people waitlisting. You know, it's hard to get a court, and Jody and I were playing with our kids and we're like, let's go get one. You know, let's go make one. The problem is land is expensive in Colorado and it usually is big. And so this site was pretty unique in the sense that it was small and we could put 3 courts. They're indoor because it's really windy in Colorado too. And that's kind of our goal. It was economical because it's next to a shooting range. It's under the highway and it's next to a mechanic shop. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I didn't know how to do it. So I have Levi and Jim helping me here, and I guess I'll hand it to them.
Awesome. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. My name is Levi Wall. I'm an architect with Unum Collaborative. We're helping Vince realize his vision here. Next slide. We are excited to be the first applicants for this relatively new mixed-use 2 zone district here in Broomfield. We think our project is a great example of how this zone district can unlock underutilized land and infill development here in Broomfield. We're also happy to have the recommendation of the Land Use Review Commission. Next slide. Just to give you a little view of the neighborhood, several single-family residences, also, lots of light industrial, commercial, office buildings, auto shops, food and beverage. It's quite a variety. Next slide. This is our land. You see a residence to the south, and then to the north there, some light industrial buildings that house a variety of uses, and some vacant land in the foreground there. Next slide, please. So this is our site on the corner of Park Street running east-west to the north, and Commerce Street, which is running diagonal there. Our approximate footprint shows you the scale of the building. It's really a transitional scale. It's larger than the residences, but quite a bit smaller than most of the light industrial buildings to the north there. Next slide, please. And this zooms in on the actual parcel. It is a little bit of a small parcel. It also has that diagonal cut out of it thanks to the realignment of Commerce Street a number of years ago. Makes it a little bit challenging to develop, but we relish this challenge. And next slide, please. This is what we're proposing for the site. So when you arrive to Park Street Pickleball by car, you will park either on the south side or the west there. The main entry is public facing from the east. Those 2 double doors you see, you'll be greeted by a reception desk. And then to the north, there's a small locker area, and to the south, kind of a hangout area next to the restrooms, and 2 pickleball courts on the main level, and then an additional pickleball court on the second level there. Next slide, please. We're early in the process, but already we're thinking about how to make this building really welcoming to the community. So the prominent feature on the public-facing side on the east there, facing Commerce Street, is this really generous porch that hosts outdoor furniture and just a place to gather. Next slide. And we also just wanted to architecturally maintain a really strong base, middle, and top to create architectural variety, create a sense of scale, and also create that sense of welcome to the community. Next slide. This is a view from the south. At the top, we're providing some trees. We want to provide some trees to kind of screen to the neighbors to the south there. And then a view from the west. So a couple different views of our proposed building. Next slide. Considering the zoning, there are a number of different zone districts within the vicinity of the site. You can see that here. And probably even more interesting than that is on the next slide, please, which is the number of uses in this area. So it is quite diverse in the different uses. You can see that top section is actually the uses that are also allowed in MU2 zoning. So we feel like there's quite a resonance within the neighborhood and also with the MU2 zoning that we're suggesting here in terms of use. Next slide, please. So another benefit of rezoning to MU2 specifically for our site is our site layout. Originally, we were looking at rezoning to an I-1 district, which would allow our use, but includes a 25-foot setback for the building, which pushes the building to the middle of the site, really constrains our site circulation and parking around the back, and pushes the building a little bit closer to the residences to the south than we really want. And contrast that with, on the next slide, this is with the MU2 development standards, which has a 10-foot setback, allows us to really push the building to the corner, activate that street corner from a pedestrian and vehicular standpoint, and also push the building away from the residences to the south, and allows us to provide that nice landscape barrier to the south. And next slide. This just shows what Judy was alluding to in terms of the step down adjacent to the residential neighborhood and how our building fits within the buildable envelope. As Judy noted, the maximum height actually is 60, not 50, as we have noted here for the building, but our building fits well within the buildable envelope of the MU2 zoning development standards. And next slide. And next slide. And this just shows our proposed building, proposed development from a bird's eye view. We thank you for your consideration. And again, we think this is a great example of what can be built under the MU2 zoning, and hope you will consider approving.
Thank
Thank you. Does that conclude the applicant's presentation? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. We will now proceed with public comments. If any residents are using the call-in service, they should indicate their desire to speak by pressing *9 to raise their hand. We will start with in-person comments. If there is anyone who would like to be heard, please come to the podium and state your name and neighborhood for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Roxy Jula Lacamore. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. You might like that. But anyway, I'm all for pickleball. I think this would be a good spot. Have you done one-on-one with the resident people that's going to be your neighbor?
We'll let them address that
Yeah.
after your comment. Thanks.
So when you answer that, I know there's not very many there. I would be interested if anybody is negative to this. My other question would be what your hours would be. I love pickleball, but I don't see that it should be played after midnight, especially if your neighbors aren't too keen on it. And before 6 o'clock in the morning, if your neighbors aren't too keen on it, that would be probably too early to start. I like about 8 o'clock myself. It gets me so I can be awake so I don't fall down and break my wrist again. Because I did that playing pickleball, by the way. Now, my problem was I was an extra 35 pounds overweight than I am right now. It was my own fault. But I think this would be a great place. People don't understand that the pickleball court is a lot smaller than a tennis ball court. So the area that they'll be taken up, I think the spot would work out quite well. And like you said, you got the gun shooting range is right there, which I participate in also. You have industrial area there. You got the noise from 36 is right there. I don't think the pickleball court's really going to make that much noise as long as it's inside. I'd be curious on how you're going to buffer the noise from the upstairs court and the downstairs court unless you make that upstairs totally separate, which would buffer it. But otherwise, the echoing from downstairs upstairs would be more than I think anybody can handle. And obviously, I wouldn't be wearing my hearing aids inside the building to play pickleball. But if you can ever use it for other projects like meetings or little conventions or something on days that you're not going to have a big tournament or something during the week, I think that would be nice to think about things like that too. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Next is public comment from individuals joining via phone. Please press *9 to indicate your desire to provide public comment. Once called to speak, please state your first and last name and neighborhood for the record. Seeing no phone comments, does the applicant have any final comments?
I think I have my first consultant at the pickleball court. Yeah, so for the noise, we had one neighbor come. And it's funny, there's another neighbor that came to Todd came. He lives 2 doors down from the other neighbor. And Todd uses it as an office space. He's on the far west side. And when they're in a meeting, they have to stop meetings pretty often because of engine braking off of 36. They just can't hear, right? So I say that to say we tried to be sensitive to the neighbors. This is an indoor court. They're not going to hear it in comparison to the pretty high decibel noise that's off of 36 and also the shooting range. Our hours of operation are 8 to 10. So maybe some late night jam, but not on this one.
Great. Did you have another comment from the applicant?
I'm Jim Pfeiffer. I live in Broomfield. I do want to make one more comment about that. She alluded to the noise and so did Vince. And I think the MU2 district is one reason that or the noise is one reason that we think the MU2 district makes the more sense than the industrial district. As Levi showed on the slides, it allows us to push this further away from the neighbors. And so we do feel like this is an excellent first deployment of the mixed-use districts that Broomfield zoning has laid out. So, yeah, to respond to that, I think this is a good solution.
Thank you. Questions from council are next. Members should limit themselves to questions during this portion. The time to introduce conditions for approval and state positions for or against this item is later. Are there any questions? Councilmember Cohen.
Thank you, Mayor Tem. Pro Tem, sorry. First, let me just compliment you on an excellent presentation. Not only was it short, but it was really well clean and easy to understand. So thank you. Come back again. We see a lot of, I think that I agree with you. This area is perfect for this rezoning. Only question I had was parking. Because I think at max you'd have 12 players, right? Because if everybody came separate, that would fill up your parking lot. So is on-street parking allowed in this area, or is there any thought to, if you have overflow? I don't know if you have pickleball tournaments in your future or any incidents where you might have, because there's only, I think, 12 spots plus.
Can we respond or?
Yes, please do.
So currently there's off-street parking in the mechanic shop. They kind of line both sides. So there's
Yeah.
off-street. We did not use it in our parking study though. So all of the parking, we had to do a parking study with Judy, and given hours of operation, quantity of pickleball court, the parking study stated that all the parking spots should facilitate the use at max, or I don't know, some kind of technical word. So.
Well, you said there was a huge wait list everywhere else, so I didn't know whether you'd have people lining up.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to have cars lining the street all day long or causing any imposition. But other than that, it looked like a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hinkle.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I ditto. Great presentation. We have a lot of people that come up here for hours and speak, and so thank you. Really appreciate the use of this space. We actually have a lot of people who want to play pickleball, and there's no space for that. I get pickleball requests constantly. I don't know what it is about our ward or whatnot, but we might have to come down to the southern side. So have you guys looked into as well? I notice on the uses, this is just a zoning hearing, so this isn't, what you're planning per se. So I realize we're just pertaining to zoning. I notice on that list, there could be breweries or anything like that. Is there something that you want to couple with the pickleball court, or are you guys just looking at the pickleball court now and then maybe bringing in food trucks or something? I don't know what the plan is for that.
Right now, it's just a juice bar out front, just to facilitate pickleball. I mean, I don't know if Jody's my wife, I don't know if we want to limit it right now, but I don't think we see any like liquor license or we got to see if it succeeds too. Like, what if 3 is too many and, we got to put golf sims upstairs? I don't know. So I'm trying to be as transparent as we can. But right now, the intention is pickleball courts, a juice bar. That's it.
Okay. And then, I was gonna say if there's any other uses, I know that there are indoor, like golf simulators as well that use a smaller space, and you could add that business to it as well. Anyway, that's the only question I had, and then I'll make comments later. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ward.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I only have one question, and that is, in your presentation, at least the images that were provided showed creation of a sidewalk on Park Street, and there currently is not a sidewalk on that part of the parcel. Is your intent to create a sidewalk only to the end of the property line, or to go the full length of Park Street and kind of connect into that multi-use path that is at the curve where Park Street turns east-ish?
Yeah. Yeah, Levi, I have my thought, but Levi's more technical, so.
Yeah, so we're kind of providing right outside, we're providing a porch area. So we're providing that sort of sidewalk, if you will. And then I think I could be wrong, but I think we might be required to improve that right-of-way sidewalk as well. So we're showing that, anticipating that, so we would improve the entire block if we were required to I think a 10-foot multi-use sidewalk. So that's sort of what we're anticipating and showing there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Councilmember Peterson.
Thank you. There's a utility easement running across the property with a sanitary sewer line. I didn't see that addressed at all. I'm assuming you're gonna have that relocated?
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, so it's on our dime. We have to move it. We've talked to a sanitary and there's a way around it, but yeah, we have to move it.
Okay. I see there's two courts on the bottom. There's a third court on a second level.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. And my questions about parking have already been addressed. So, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other council member questions? There being no further question, the public hearing is closed. Next is council's consideration of proposed resolution number 2026-48. Will the clerk please read the proposed resolution by title?
7A, Resolution Number 2026-48, approving of a rezoning from low-density residential R1 to employment mixed-use MU-2 at 8320 Park Street.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution? Councilmember Ward.
So moved.
Is there a second? Councilmember Hinkle.
Second?
Is there any discussion? Councilmember Hinkle.
Just want to say excited about this and rezoning, and I know that I appreciate that map too. That was really cool. It's kind of like a little heat map of, what other types of zoning. That was really smart. We need more of you in here in Broomfield, so thank you for that. And utilizing these spaces, these are spaces that people want to enjoy. There aren't a lot of spaces lately where people can get together in person, and a lot of people since COVID are still not coming together. So I feel like it's a great space for people to come together. Would encourage any sort of other activities that would also generate any sort of financial stability for it as well. So thanks.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we will move forward to the vote on resolution number 2026-48. Council, please cast your vote electronically. All council members have entered their vote. The results will now be displayed on the screen. That passes 10-0. Congratulations on your rezoning. It's 8:02. We'll now take our 10-minute break and reconvene at 8:12. We're back, continuing with the agenda. Next, under action items is the public hearing and council's consideration on second reading of a proposed ordinance adopting the 2024 Model Traffic Code for Colorado. I'll now declare the public hearing open. Council has a copy of the agenda memorandum, which I'll ask our staff to summarize.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Bryce Hamilton, Traffic Engineer.
Traffic Unit Sergeant. Thank you, everyone, and hello. My name is Bryce Hamilton, Broomfield's Traffic Engineer, presenting the second reading of the 2024 Model Traffic Code adoption. Next slide. And just to give a quick summary from the first reading, adopting the 2024 code will make Broomfield's traffic code more similar throughout the state. This ordinance also includes recommended additions to Broomfield's traffic code. The amendments were to restrict parking within 30 feet of an intersection or crosswalk, and also compulsory insurance was deleted. The additions were mainly to clarify specific situations, allowing PD to bring appropriate charges to court. These additions included operation of unlicensed vehicles, driving under restraint, failure to avoid vehicles ahead, colliding with parked vehicles, and hit and run. Next slide. So the proposed action is to adopt Ordinance 2297 to amend Chapter 10, Vehicles and Traffic of the Broomfield Municipal Code and adopt the 2024 Model Traffic Code for Colorado. And that concludes the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now proceed with public comments. If any residents are using the call-in service, they should indicate their desire to speak by pressing *9 to raise their hand. We will start with in-person comments. If there is anyone who would like to be heard, please come to the podium and state your name and neighborhood for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing no comments. Next is public comment from individuals joining via phone. There are no public comments via phone. Questions from council are next. Members should limit themselves to questions during this portion. The time to introduce amendments and state positions for or against this item is later. Are there any questions? There being no questions from council, the public hearing is closed. Next is council's consideration of proposed ordinance number 2297. Will the clerk please read the proposed ordinance by title?
7B, ordinance number 2297, amending Chapter 10, Vehicles and Traffic of the Broomfield Municipal Code and adopting the 2024 Model Traffic Code for Colorado.
Is there a motion to approve the ordinance on second and final reading and order published by title? Councilmember Hinkle.
So moved.
Is there a second? Councilmember Ward.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, we will move forward to the vote on ordinance number 2297. Council, please cast your vote electronically. All council members have entered their vote. The results will now be displayed on the screen. That passes on second and final reading, 10-0. Thank you. Next, under action items, is the public hearing and council's consideration on second reading of a proposed ordinance regarding the assessing and collecting of fines and fees for lost and damaged library materials. I'll now declare the public hearing open. Council has a copy of the agenda memorandum, which I'll ask our staff to summarize.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and making her way down is our amazing library, arts, history, and extension director, Catherine Linnett.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. I am Catherine Lineup, the Director of Library Arts History and CSU Extension. As you heard at the start of this evening, the library has a vital role in Broomfield's civic life and social fabric. The proposal I'm presenting to you today seeks to remove pending and future fees for lost or damaged items. This is the next step in our systematic approach begun in 2019 to ensure the library remains a barrier-free community hub. Next slide, please. Sorry, one more. So I want to kind of move you through what we've done so far. In 2019, we eliminated all overdue fines. And then in 2020, ended the use of collection agencies for those that did not return items and had not paid after a certain amount of time. And then in 2022, we removed the replacement fees for children's materials. What we've found is reducing the financial barriers for the community has not negatively affected the quality of our collection availability to the public or our finances. The current state is that the library collects fines and fees for lost and damaged library materials of all formats for young adult and adult. We removed it for children's a couple years ago. This is in the municipal code. And what we'd like to do is remove these fees and fines to standardize a fee-free model across all age group and formats. And this allows our staff to prioritize public service and community building rather than enforcement of fee collection. Since eliminating fees for children's material in 2022, the library has actually documented a consistent decrease in the number of lost and damaged items. Because replacement fees account for less than 0.3% of the annual operating budget, the library can absorb the cost of lost items through existing budget lines without impacting its overall fiscal health or the collection quality. Next slide, please. I wanted to include this graph to demonstrate the estimated administrative costs compared to the fees that we actually collect from community members. As you see, over the last few years, the administrative costs, including staff labor, credit card processing fees, are higher than the collection of what we're actually collecting. So the math for us is pretty clear that this is not making sense for us to do. And also a punitive system has not been needed in order to minimize loss and damage. We are seeing the items come back more rather than less with the removal of fees. And last slide, please. So in conclusion, removing these fines and fees is another step towards organizational and operational excellence and fiscal responsibility, and it ensures equitable access to materials for all. We have members of our library advisory board here tonight and library staff, and we're all recommending that City Council approve this proposal to amend the Broomfield Municipal Code and eliminate all pending and future replacement fees. Thank you.
Next is public comment from individuals who have comments. If any residents are using the call-in service, they should indicate their desire to speak by pressing *9 to raise their hand. We will start with in-person comments. If there is anyone who would like to be heard, please come to the podium and state your name and neighborhood for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Roxy Julia Luckmore. It is only logical to run a business that is costing you more in administrative than it is for the collection, and you can use the money elsewhere to pay for the problems that you're having, that you should do it. So this should pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Dave Heineman. I live in Skystone in Ward 2. I think most people of a certain age would recognize that if you go to a library and you don't return a book, you pay library fees. And when this first came up through the library board, I was one of the folks who thought this was a very silly process to go through. And the truth of it is, when you look at it, we're spending more money to collect library fees than we actually get. And so this basically puts us on a trust model where we trust the people who come into the library to do the right thing. And you might say, well, what's the stop loss? You know, if we actually wound up with somebody who walked in, checked out 5 books and never brought them back. And the answer is we begin to remove privileges from those kinds of people who don't actually follow the rules for how this thing works. So I think overall, this, as was said just a minute ago, doesn't make sense to continue on with collecting fees when we are losing money by doing so. And actually moving to this trust model is much better. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is public comment from individuals joining via phone. Please press star 9 to indicate your desire to provide public comment. We do not have any public comment via phone. Questions from council are next. Members should limit themselves to questions during this portion. The time to introduce amendments and state positions for or against this item is later. Are there any questions? Councilmember Anderson.
Okay, I do have a question, and it's similar to the question I asked when we were looking at this for the children's fees. And it sounds like what I'm understanding is if somebody were to be habitually not returning materials, they could lose their license, not their license, their library card. A little aggressive. And that's what, but that was the intention. And then just curious as a follow-up to that, did we, with the changes with the children's fees, did that result in anyone actually going to that level with anyone? Or is that pretty much not even an issue?
That is a good question. I'll do the first part first, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a phone a friend here. Yes, we still have the ability to block someone's card and access if they haven't returned materials. We do still send notices that you have something that's late and please return it. So we still have multiple times that we interact with them. And if we're seeing a habitual pattern, we can block their card so they can't continue to check out items. I don't believe, and I'm checking with Jonathan here, that we have had anybody we've actually had to block that had issues with children's materials. Yep. Okay. I was pretty sure we hadn't, and we've got confirmation from our circulation manager here that we have not had to do that for children's materials.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councilmember Peterson.
Okay, looking at your chart, it shows that clearly it costs more to go through the process of trying to get back items than you're actually collecting. That makes sense. But what I don't see is by not trying, you still have to spend money to replace items that have been lost. How do those costs compare to the difference here?
That's a good question, and part of why our library board recommended we start with children's. We have a couple of years to test this out and see. But what we've found is, one, it actually allows us to replace materials sooner because we're not waiting on that process before we purchase materials. Secondly, what we've found is we're getting more back than we did when we were trying to collect fines, which I find intriguing and was surprising to us. We knew we'd have some loss, and what would that be? What we've found is materials are coming back more than they were before. And I think it's just an interesting behavior piece. Fees don't change behavior. But interestingly enough, if you don't have to come be apologetic to a librarian, it works.
I can understand that after dropping my library book in the bathtub. It's embarrassing to go back. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Cohen.
I just had a quick question. Since you mentioned in the earlier presentation I think you said telescopes and other weighty things, not just books. Do you ever foresee needing deposits if you are lending out things of substantial value? Is that permitted?
No, we have talked about that, Councilmember Cohen, and we feel like we're not seeing that as a barrier, even with the telescopes and like our wireless hotspots. For those, we can turn off the service to it. They come back real quick when that happens. And we just, even something like the telescope that's 100, 150, whatever it is, we're not seeing that as a barrier. But if you don't return it, we're going to have a conversation with you. And if it's habitual, you're going to be blocked.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any further questions? There being no further questions, the public hearing is closed. Next is council's consideration of proposed ordinance number 2298. Will the clerk please read the proposed ordinance by title?
7C, ordinance number 2298, amending Chapter 2-52, Public Library regarding the assessing and collecting of fines and fees for lost and damaged library materials.
Is there a motion to approve the ordinance on second and final reading and order published by title? Yes, Councilmember Twist.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Hinkle.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we will move forward to the vote on ordinance number 2298. Council, please cast your vote electronically. All council members have entered their vote. The results will now be displayed on the screen. That passes on second and final reading, 10-0. Next, under action items, is the public hearing and council's consideration on second reading of a proposed ordinance adjusting campaign finance deadlines for October reports. I'll now declare the public hearing open. Council has a copy of the agenda memorandum, which I'll ask our staff to summarize.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have our City County Clerk, Crystal Clements.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Crystal Clements, City and County Clerk and Recorder, and tonight presenting on ordinance number 2303, the second reading. Next slide, please. Ordinance number 2303 amends section 4880 of the Broomfield Municipal Code to clarify the municipal campaign finance reporting deadlines and to eliminate scenarios where a report is due before the end of the reporting period. As section 4880 is currently written, in election years, the municipal campaign finance report covering October 1st through October 15th is due 21 days prior to the election. And the report covering October 16th through October 31st is due the Friday prior to the election. Depending on the day of the election, one or both of these reports could be due prior to the end of the reporting period, which our table shows you how those dates are impacted. Next slide, please. Both this year's Ward 1 and next year's all wards campaign finance reports are due before the end of the reporting periods. To ensure complete and accurate information, council must either amend the due dates to cover the entire period, or candidates must submit report amendments for the rest of the reporting period. Proposed ordinance number 2303 amends the due dates for these two reports, setting a fixed due date instead of one dependent on the election day. It also clarifies that if a municipal campaign finance report is due on the weekend or a holiday, the due date shifts to the next business day. And that concludes the presentation.
Thank you. We will now proceed with public comments. If any residents are using the call-in service, they should indicate their desire to speak by pressing *9 to raise their hand. We will start with any in-person comments. If there's anyone who'd like to be heard, please come to the podium and state your name and neighborhood for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing none, next is public comment from individuals joining via phone. There is none. Questions from council are next. Members should limit themselves to questions during this portion. The time to introduce amendments and state positions for or against this item is later. Are there any council questions? Seeing no council questions, the public hearing is closed. Next is council's consideration of proposed ordinance number 2303. Will the clerk please read the proposed ordinance by title?
7D, ordinance number 2303, adjusting campaign finance deadlines for October reports.
Is there a motion to approve the ordinance on second and final reading and order published by title? Councilmember Delgadillo.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Peterson.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we will move forward to the vote on ordinance number 2303. Council, please cast your vote electronically. All council members have entered their vote. The results will now be displayed on the screen. That passes on second and final reading, 10-0. Thank you. The next item of business for council's consideration this evening is Councilmember Brown's request for future action related to safe parking. This is not a discussion on the topic, but instead is an opportunity for council to provide staff direction on whether or not council desires staff to dedicate time and resources to this request. Councilmember Brown, you may now begin with your 5-minute presentation.
Thank you. Since January, we've heard from many residents, housed and unhoused, as well as our local housing advocates, about the difficulties faced by our unhoused population here in Broomfield. Through conversations about unregulated RVs on our streets, we've seen robust community engagement on this topic and how to reduce illegal street camping while also caring for and supporting our most vulnerable neighbors. I want to share a couple statistics. Last year, the point-in-time count that is facilitated by Metro Denver Homeless Initiative every year showed that there were 37 unhoused Broomfielders, and 14 of which reported living in their vehicle. That is a single day. So as the name suggests, that data is limited to that point in time. And the FISH annual report that was just released for 2025 actually showed that there were nearly 300 Broomfield residents who experienced homelessness last year. And it's no wonder when you realize that the average rent here in Broomfield in 2025 was $2,400 a month. So it is important that we step up and find a way to provide stability, safety, and a path for these individuals to find a home. Tonight, I'm proud to submit my first request for action on a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I am requesting that the city do some research and present us with a study session on what expanded safe parking could look like in Broomfield. Broomfield currently has a couple locations that are offering limited overnight parking. We have 12 car spots and 4 RV spots that are available, and those have wait lists. Ideally, I envision something like a designated parking lot that would provide a secure location for people living in their vehicles temporarily while they are transitioning to stable housing. It would be much more than a parking space. It is somewhere that they can stay up to 24/7 if they desire that. And as we have heard from these residents, it is impactful to them to be shuffled off during the day and wasting gas moving around from place to place, which our current models here in Broomfield do require. There are several solid model programs around the country that we can learn from, and I have shared some of those with city staff and my council colleagues. Nonprofits in Broomfield already have solid processes for vetting individual and family needs and providing those wraparound services and stability for these individuals while they're focusing on finding housing. Again, I'm envisioning something like a place that would provide basic amenities, housing navigation services, behavioral health services, food assistance, phone and device charging stations, as well as medical outreach. So I want to express my gratitude for the awe-inspiring work that our local housing advocates are doing in this space to support this increasing need that we're seeing. And just thank you to all of the Broomfield residents who are engaging in this important issue, and especially city staff who have already brought forward some great ideas since I shared this request for action. And they, continue to show creativity and compassion in this space. With that, I'd like to acknowledge that several of my fellow council members have shared interest in this topic, and I want to open the floor for others who might wish to say a few words on this, and especially Councilmember Twiss, who was wonderful enough after our first January meeting around this topic around RVs to come forward and say, we have to do something, let's talk. And so coffee sessions later, here we are. So I would like to, invite Councilmember Twiss to say a few words, and anybody else who has thoughts or suggestions on this topic, and then I'm happy to take questions, and just want to say thank you all for your consideration of this initiative.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to public comments first. We'll now proceed with public comments. If there's anyone who would like to be heard, please come to the podium and state your name and neighborhood for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Roxy Jula Lockmore. For our community, which is very small, we don't have a whole lot of empty land that would be interested in having a bunch of campers parked in them or anything, or on the street or in a parking lot. And if we built a building to where we took care of these people, it has been already practiced, and we have already done this practice before in the past. I've been here too long. That when you help them, more show up, including they come in on RTD, they have vans bring these poor people in, and we help the best that we can. But when you bring something and you make something good, which this would be good, then there'll be too many people coming. When are you going to stop? The taxpayers pay for too much now. We can't let people from all these other areas and regions and stuff to come and populate our community. We're not as big. We're not Boulder. We're not Denver. We're not Longmont. We're not Aspen. You don't find nothing like this in Aspen. And our community is kind of related to Aspen. So you need to think about where you spend the money on. I think our roads and bridges and things of this nature, I hate to say it, they need a little bit of touch and a lot of love. We take care of who we have here already. And like I said, if you make something better, it'll become overpopulated, and you'll have to make something bigger and better. So just think of the future. Think what you're having your children do and what they have to pay for. Either pay for the city and the county, or pay for everybody else's people that are going to be moving in and taking all of the tax money here. And don't forget the schools. You populate them terrible by doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other in-person public comments? Seeing none, questions from City Council are next. Are there any comments or questions? Councilmember Twiss.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you, Councilmember Brown. I don't know what I can say really to add to that. Thank you. We have been talking about this for a while, and I had the opportunity to participate in the point in time count in January of this year. There were 7 priority areas set for Broomfield, and 4 of those were Ward 1, and all of Ward 1 was in a priority area. That is not lost on me. When we talk to people who are unhoused or living in cars or in danger of becoming so in this increasingly volatile and uncertain time, I found that many of them, many have ties to Broomfield. These are not people coming from somewhere. This is us taking care of our neighbors. This is us taking care of our seniors, taking care of our veterans, taking care of our friends, our neighbors, and the people who've been in our community for so long. We have so much here and an amazing community. We can do better on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Peterson.
We've heard quite a bit through the discourse about the recent change to the RV ordinance, that there is a significant concern in the community regarding the presence of inhabited RVs. I would be immensely grateful to city staff for looking into ways that we can make safe parking lots available. We don't have a shelter here in Broomfield, but this would create safety and stability for those that have no choice but to live in RVs, and also for our residents. I also want to highlight the importance of getting input from stakeholders. In the past, the stakeholders, including our nonprofits, churches, and our residents, so that we can create a solution that is sustainable. Previously, we had the Colorado Safe Parking Initiative that was able to provide a social worker and best practices, but unfortunately that program no longer exists. So as we create something new for Broomfield, I strongly suggest that in addition to a physical space, there's also a need for a program coordinator and a case manager to facilitate a sustainable solution and not just relying solely on the peer support available through the nonprofit community currently. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ward.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Councilmember Braun, for bringing this forward. I'll keep this short and sweet. I do support dedicating some staff time to look into this further and having a study session in the future.
Thank you. Do we have any other council member questions? Councilmember Anderson, did you have your light on?
That's weird. It just disappeared.
We lost you.
Okay, I'll keep this short as well. I know this came, as we discussed the RV parking ordinance, this became clear that this was kind of a separate discussion. I appreciate that this was separated. And this is only a discussion. Staff has already put some time into this. I think we need to put some guardrails around how much time we put into this research, but I do want to hear more about the potential options that we have in this area. And also there is another piece to this, because we've been hearing a lot about the Broomfield Housing Stability Task Force and their consideration for running a ballot initiative. And in some ways, if that's the route they want to go, then this really falls perhaps under somebody else's purview. So I think we need to keep that in mind as well. But that is my comments. I'm okay with investing some staff time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hinkle.
Staff, I'm wondering if, Mr. Casey, if you can answer this, but I thought we did give $5,000 for a safe parking initiative in our grant funding this year, though.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Henkel. If I recall correctly, that is true. There was I think it was United Methodist that maybe received some funding, but yeah, the Human Services nonprofit grant dollars, there were dollars that went towards the safe parking program.
Okay.
I think that's what Councilmember Braun was alluding to. There is a program established, but it's there's a wait list. It isn't in and out. It's a daily in and out. So yeah, that's the safe parking program that we have 2 churches that run a program currently in Broomfield.
Okay. Yeah, it's my understanding that there's about $5,000 into it, which doesn't really make a dent into paying staff to kind of upkeep over that programming. So just for those of you who don't know or not aware, we do have a safe parking program already in place. It's just that we need to include RVs in that program, and we just don't have the space for it. I know I'm a member of Broomfield United Methodist Church, so I know, the spacing and what they have and what they don't have. So I think it would just be a matter of, if you were to expand it, where would it be? And I support staff looking into this for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other council comments or questions? Councilmember Cohen.
Yes, just to follow up, I'm curious if you have ideas on the scope of where staff should look or models. I know they have the safe parking here. I know there's communities like, I think Bend, Oregon has municipal run safe park. Or if there's other parameters you want them to look at, like this is only for people with Broomfield residencies, or is it looking at temporary parking? Or, I mean, I don't know what the direction would be to staff at this point, if you might have more elaborate on that.
Councilmember Brown, would you like to address that?
Yeah, I'm happy to speak to that, Councilmember Cohen. My vision, and absolutely open to thoughts from others as well as the city and what they think will be successful here. And of course, appreciating Councilmember Peterson's comment about getting extensive stakeholder input on this initiative. I think that some of the models that are successful are limited to 3 months or maybe 6 months at the outset. They require mandatory participation in housing navigation services. So if people are not trying to get housed, then they are not allowed to stay there. Additionally, I do, and I wanted to address this comment in response to our public comment previously. The model that Broomfield Fish currently uses to vet who is receiving those services, I think, is very effective. They require that there are ties to Broomfield, that those people have to, show either some sort of proof that they live in Broomfield, or that they are staying with family that live in Broomfield, or, having something that is documented. So I do want to focus the service on our neighbors, our friends, our people who live in this community. Does that answer your question sufficiently?
Yes, thank you. Also, I don't know if there was a reference to the Housing Solutions survey. I don't know what's in that survey. Do we know if it covers safe parking? I don't know what they're asking yet, if anybody does know. Okay, maybe we'll find out. All right, thank you.
I can, I suppose, speak to that a little bit. I asked somebody that's on that committee if they would be supportive of the safe parking initiative, and they said they're not planning anything like this, so that it would be running, basically in parallel. This would be something that we would be looking at, unrelated to anything that they are trying to push for.
Thank you. Anyone else? First round comments? Councilmember Hinkle.
Sorry, I forgot to mention this earlier. It is my understanding with safe parking too, that it's just overnight parking. So they park and then they leave during the day and then they come back. So generally that's what our safe parking looks like. I don't know if that would look differently for RVs, but that's something that I would want the staff to just weigh in on. What would safe parking look like? Would they leave in the morning, come back in the evening, and that might add more staff costs to the program. So thank you.
Thank you. And I have some questions for Councilmember Brown. I heard you use the word ideally. So I'm not sure that gives complete clarity to what we're giving staff direction to do. So could you please, I guess, try to put some, I think Councilmember Anderson said guardrails, or, what kind of options are we directing staff to look at?
Thank you for that question. I would say that it is land. Where would this be? How big would it be? How many spaces are needed to meet the needs in our community? I believe I've gotten some statistics, even if we use, the point in time count for this year, that should be released, I think, in June. So we should have a better sense of how things have changed since last year. So I would say location, absolutely. What amenities would we provide? That's a big question in my mind. Is that something that we are sharing responsibilities with? Essentially, shared responsibilities. How much can the city reasonably take on? How much can our community groups, our nonprofits, how much can they take on in terms of land? And even to Councilmember Peterson's comments about, staffing might be needed to run a lot, to manage a lot, to perform case management. All of those things, I don't know if that's where nonprofits could contribute, person hours, or if the city would need to put a person on this. So I would like to see direction, or, I guess I would like guidance from the city on location, staffing, as well as amenities that would be reasonably provided at this location. I have heard that the existing safe parking lots have porta potties, and those can get less than ideal for the people who are using them. So, it's things like that where if they have access to some sort of, public restroom facility, if there is a laundromat nearby, like how are these, individuals able to take care of their basic needs while they're staying there? These are considerations depending on location, obviously, and whether this is something that we're going to consider that's more permanent or very temporary. And I'm suddenly becoming conscious of time. I don't know how long I have to address your question, but
No, that's
those are the big three that I'm thinking about.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Anderson.
Okay, I appreciate those additional details, and I just want to be mindful of a time in the past when we were considering some solutions that could have included some some tent. Well, what was the I forget the name. I forget what we called that. And we actually got to the point where the staff memo came out and had some specific locations, and that caused some angst in the community. So I want to make sure that we don't all of a sudden, like staff doesn't go too far and comes out with, hey, here's some proposed locations, and it could be $500,000, and that we maybe maybe we don't go quite that far right away, and we just have some basic information in a study session or something before we start getting too far down a certain path. Just recalling that it wasn't so great. So that's just my feedback. Thank you.
Councilmember Hinkle.
Sorry, I have a little PTSD from all of the talk around that. Yes. No, I agree, Councilmember Anderson, and I think we do need to put just some real, just general thoughts into it. I would prefer the thoughts go into maybe expanding what we have already, just addressing what we think we might need for an RV parking situation for Broomfield residents who have been here. So maybe just some sort of study on what the exact need is, and if the safe parking with a nonprofit leading the way on that, not CCOB staff, would be pertinent. And then if it needs to, have an expansion there, then I think that we could take the next step. But I don't want to do locations. I don't want to do, anything more than that. Just let's address the need, and let's address if a safe parking program could be expanded by utilizing our nonprofits who do that work really well, and they can provide the staff for it like they have been. Thanks.
Are there any other council comments or questions? Does staff feel like they have if council proceeds to give this direction, does staff feel like they have a good understanding of what council is asking staff to bring forward in this study session?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Lim. Yes, I think we've got a basic understanding of kind of what the ask is. I think there will be some more questions as we start digging into this. I think it will probably be an iterative process, right? To Councilmember Henkel's point, we can bring back some of that initial need and maybe some of that preliminary information, and then direct that conversation from that point. Yeah, I believe that we can get some options together for a study session.
Okay, thank you. Do we understand that might be an iterative process? Yes. Okay. Okay. I guess I would ask council members to indicate their support of the proposed request for future action to instruct staff to explore safe parking options for those living in RVs and cars. We can just do an informal poll. Do we have thumbs up, yes, for moving this conversation forward? Okay, we do. That gives staff the direction that they need. They seem to have an understanding of what that direction is. Thank you. Is there any other business to come before the council from my council colleagues or staff? There being no further business, the business meeting is